Alright guys, as some of you may know, I'm a huge Dragon Ball fan. I've been searching all over Netflix to watch Dragon Ball episodes, but unfortunately Netflix here just doesn't have them. But you know which version of Netflix does? Netflix Japan. Some of you might be wondering, how on earth am I accessing Netflix Japan, right? Well, that's where NordVPN comes in. NordVPN is one of the top VPN services out there. It allows you to mask your location and browse securely, which is perfect for protecting your privacy. Plus, NordVPN can basically change your location to anywhere in the world with just a few clicks. So it's just as easy as that. That's how I'm able to access Netflix Japan and binge all of the Dragon Ball episodes that I can fathom. It's not just about watching international shows, however. NordVPN adds an extra layer of security basically as you're browsing, so your personal information stays safe and your online activity remains private. If you want to unlock more content and protect your privacy online, head over to nordvpn.com/Harariboy to get over 70% off a 2-year subscription plus 3 months free. And if you don't like it, you can cancel within 30 days and get a money back guarantee. It is worth the peace of mind and extra content you'll have access to. Thank you. Hello everybody, what's up? Welcome to the Harariboy Podcast. I'm your host, Harariboy. Today, I wanted to react to something controversial Dave Ramsey was saying about the housing market, how it's not going to, essentially crash and things like that. It has a lot of people in an uproar, especially first-time home buyers. So we're going to touch on a few key points that he points out there, and we'll definitely break it down for you guys. So yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. All right, so what did Dave Ramsey exactly say? He explained how the housing market wasn't headed for a crash. And to say that it sparked some controversy is definitely an understatement. It's definitely not what people are wanting to hear right now. And while a crash may not be on the horizon, that doesn't mean it's the end of the world and that it's impossible for first-time home buyers to essentially own a home. There are some practical steps you can take to navigate it smartly. So we'll definitely touch on that here shortly. But first, let's go ahead and react to exactly what he had to say.
Hey, Dave, can I ask you a quick real estate question real quick?
You can.
All right, so this might be bad math in my head. So let's say we're in Nashville, Tennessee, where the real estate has gone way up in value over the last 5 to 10 years, right?
Okay.
So let's say the house I bought back in 2020 is quote unquote worth double. Mm-hmm. And I put on the market for double what I paid for it in 2020. Mm-hmm. And let's say because of the influx in inventory, I have to drop the price a bit. Mm-hmm. And somebody comes in and bids $10,000 left. Mm-hmm. So it's just a little under double. I feel like on social media and whatever, the report is house prices are falling. But the way I look at it is I'm still on house money because it's worth almost double what I paid for it. And just because I take is that a bad way for me to look at the real estate investment?
Okay.
Do you get what I'm saying?
No, it is house money, but it's different than that. The reason social media is wrong is for a different reason. Market value of a property, by definition, when I went to real estate, when I got my 4-year degree in real estate, I have a degree in real estate and finance. If you go to appraisal class and you go to take your real estate test, they teach you this. The definition of market value of a piece of real estate is what a willing buyer is able to give a willing seller and willing when neither are under duress. Okay? So, in other words, if you're getting foreclosed on, that's not a valid you can't use that sale when you're doing an appraisal.
Right.
Because it does not establish market value because one of the parties is under duress. Okay? If you've had a house on the market, if you bought another house and you're having to sell your house out of desperation because you shouldn't have bought the other house and now you got 2 house payments, one of the parties is under duress. Okay?
So they might sell it quote unquote below market value.
Yes.
Just to get rid of it.
Yes, because but it does not establish market value. So when someone says house prices are going down, they mean market values are going down. Market values have not gone down. But there are some parties, because the market has been sluggish, that are under duress.
Gotcha.
and are selling.
Because they may have leveraged a bunch of
what you
properties.
call a motivated seller for one reason or another. And house has been sitting on the market, and they lower the price below what the appraisal would be, what a willing buyer, but they're no longer without duress. They have duress, meaning there's a stress. They're in a stress situation.
Okay.
And so that doesn't establish market value. That doesn't establish what home prices are doing. Now, but if you're in a seller's market, then the buyers are under duress because they can't. That's when you get 83 offers on the house. If you're in a buyer's market, which we haven't seen in a long time because inventories have never kept up with demand, but if you're in a buyer's market, that means there's houses everywhere, and the buyers could come in and cherry pick what they want, and they can demand stuff from sellers because the sellers are under more stress, and that drives prices down. But we haven't seen that in 2 decades.
But even if market value went down 20%, I'm still up.
You're
in
still
my
on house
investment.
market, but house prices would have gone down if that was the case.
Correct. There you go.
So social media would be correct, but social media is a drama queen.
Correct.
It's not functioning on anything except, some 20-something-year-old living in his mother's basement having a little snowflake attack.
Correct.
And that's your social media. That's not got anything to do with the actual reality of what's happening in the market. That's just somebody pissed off because they feel like they got boxed out of the market because they're a barista after getting a PhD.
Or they're pissed off because they did some napkin math and looked at the wrong internet website and said, my house is worth $1.2 million. They get an offer for $700,000, and in their soul, they feel like they lost $500,000 when they may have bought the house.
If it was not worth 1.2.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. It was never worth that. And so is there actual market value? So if you're going to do an appraisal on a piece of residential real estate, you find 3 comparable sales within the last 90 days, comparable in area, comparable in attributes, and comparable in square footage, and you adjust for square footage. If one's a 5-bedroom, one's a 4-bedroom, one's got 6 baths, one's got 4 baths, one's got a 5-car garage, one's got a 3-car garage. You adjust for the differences, and you do that, and then you take the average of those 3 after adjustments, and you have a residential appraisal. But the qualification is all 3 of those comparable sales cannot have had a buyer or a seller under duress. So you can't use 2 foreclosures in the neighborhood.
Gotcha. Okay.
As your comparable sale. Otherwise, you have an invalid appraisal.
What they do in 2008 when whole neighborhoods were getting wiped out?
Well, then you've got a new market. The market established that this neighborhood is foreclosure neighborhood.
Okay.
So it drove it down.
Yep.
Because everything in there was. So if you had like those townhouses and stuff where they, where these bogus investment deals, that's what happened in 2008, and the mortgage bank securities, all that crap crashed. And so they started punting on these loans left and right. And so they end up with whole neighborhoods back. Now you got a complete reset on that neighborhood. But that's not a statement of real estate. That's a statement of that neighborhood. That neighborhood was full of investment real estate, 100% renters, and 100% of the investors, in air quotes, walked away.
Right. Yeah.
And so now you got a reset.
Okay.
And now we've got, what will people pay in that neighborhood that where neither are under duress? And that takes about a generation to get through that. Not a generation of people, but a generation of sales. Because the bank, when they take it back, they're under duress.
Okay.
So when the bank resells it, you can't count that. That's a real estate owned, an REO. You can't count that as your appraisal. And so that's what we're getting into. So no, that's what this thing I just said, go to our website. We track this stuff. There's 1,036,101 homes on the market right now. We know exactly how many are on the market. We know exactly when we're tracking all this stuff in detail, and you can go there and find the actual data. And your month over month over month, every month this year, median house price, which is the middle, not the average, it's the middle of house prices, is what a median is in statistics, has gone up every single month. It's not gone up much. It's gone up like $1,000 or $2,000.
But it's not crashing like everybody.
It's not going down.
Right.
Is the point. It's going up.
Yeah.
And there's good inventory, and there's good demand, and everybody's sitting around waiting to see if the Fed chairman's really going to get fired and if we're really going to see some interest rates adjusted. And once they get past that waiting game, probably about September, you may see this market take off like a dadgum hair on fire thing. September could be wild in terms of house prices going up again. But we've been telling you guys this out there And it's proven to be true. I've been telling you this for 5 years. House prices are not going down. This is not a bubble. A bubble is when there is when the prices have gone up faster than the demand. Demand has outpaced inventory. Demand is higher than supply. Every time you see that in economics, you see prices go up. It's a simple thing. It's 7th grade economics, if anybody taught economics in 7th grade anymore. But that's it. I mean, when there's a shortage of goods or services, the price goes up on those. When there's an overabundance of goods or services, the price goes down on those. It's very simple. And you really can't hardly figure out any time in economics, with an open market anyway, that gets violated. It just shows up that way every single time, given a half a minute. But, I mean, you get weird anomalies like COVID and that kind of stuff that hit a marketplace. It takes a little while to get the wrinkle out of the sheet on that. Like the supply chain stuff, same thing. But the problem is everybody's just so frustrated that wants a house and can't get one right now.
Sure.
And so they're throwing all these darts out there that they call truth to try to make themselves feel better about it.
So you heard that. You heard what he had to say there. One thing I did want to touch on was how Dave defines market value. Essentially, it's what a buyer is willing to pay and what a seller is willing to accept, assuming neither party is under duress. And the key word here is duress. So what does he mean by that? What does that mean for you? If you look back at the 2008 housing crash, many sellers were under duress. They were essentially forced to sell below market value just to avoid a foreclosure and, best case scenarios, right? So that's essentially what you're looking for. That's a duress signal. And if that doesn't happen on a mass scale, a crash will not essentially happen. So if the housing market isn't likely to come down, what does that mean for buyers? It means your leverage comes from who you buy from, essentially. Specifically, sellers who may be under duress, right? So how do you define that? How do you find these sellers under duress? Tools like Zillow, Redfin let you see the property's price history, right? And what you can do is you can go into that property price history and you'll see definitely how many times the seller has reduced the price, when they put it for sale. So frequent price cuts can signal pressure to sell, which is exactly why agents usually advise against this, as they are afraid that they might telegraph that sense of urgency, hence the sense of duress. So once you essentially identify a seller who may be under duress, you're often in a stronger position to negotiate more favorable terms and pricing. So that being said, that's all you really have to do. Look out for that. If my rule of thumb is essentially 3 times definitely will signal some type of duress there. So take that, use that to your advantage. That's definitely a strong suit of how you can navigate this crazy housing market. If you found this video helpful, definitely be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more practical tips like this. And best of luck to all of you in your financial journey. So do you have a minute to connect? Let's Minect. That's right, guys. I'm officially on Minect now. You guys can go ahead and book me. I will be offering financial as well as career coaching based off of the Dave Ramsey principles, of course. So yeah, feel free to contact me, connect with me on Minect, and I look forward to speaking with each and every single one of you.